Howdy. Today I'm going to be posting my Please Don't Cut Off the Little Engagement I Get video while I work on other projects. So today we're organizing my bookshelf, which is a mess, just like I am. So I started off by trying to organize my bookshelf genre wise, but then kind of lost the plot because I just tried to fit my books wherever I could fit them. For context, I have two bookshelves. One you can see behind me, and another one is above my study table. And both of them are just kind of mixed and matched right now because my sole purpose was to just fit the books wherever I find space, and now it is a chaotic mess. So, we're gonna be organizing it today. I have decided to organize them genre wise as of now because that seems more fitting. Also, there are other reasons which I will be explaining to you when we get to that part. So, let's go. Let's go. Okay, so for context, this is what it currently looks like with a lot of action figures and showpieces. Why is that book turned to its backside? I have no idea, but this is what it looks like. And I'm gonna start by taking out all the books. I'm pretty sure they'll require a clean because they're so dusty. They've I'm pretty sure my City of Bones books have been in that position for years now, and all of my books require cleaning. So I've turned on these neon lights on my bookshelf because the lighting is kind of garbage right now, especially where the bookshelf is. But let's take them out and see what requires changing. Those shelves are empty. Now I need to clean them. Oh god. There we go. Okay. Now I need to clean them. And for context, this is what my bed looks like right now. With so many books, I took all of them out. Now, before I clean it, I want to show you the other shelf where I keep my books. There's not a lot of space in there, but I feel like if I organize them properly, I could make more space. So let me show you that and let me clean this shelf. Okay, so this is the other shelf where I keep all the other books. That's the one I'm reading right now. It's pretty interesting, but we'll talk about it later. But there's not a lot of space in here. Also very misorganized. This is where I keep my manga, but we'll see what to do with this. All right, Chad. The bookshelves are now clean, and I'm sweating, and I'm tired. Really, it tells me I'm out of shape, aren't I? If my peak physical energy got exhausted while cleaning four tiny bookshelves. Anyways, the reason why I'm cleaning all of this and organizing my books is because I don't want to have a termite infestation because my shelf is wooden and I don't really get a lot of light in my room, as you can tell. So I feel like this was a good decision. Let's start putting them in the shelves now. Okay, so I decided to organize my books by genres and not by fiction and non-fiction because I don't own a lot of non-fiction books. Neither do I own a lot of self-help books. I have one self-help book and it's Atomic Habits, and I didn't read it. My brother bought it and he never completed it either, so it's just there. I don't like reading self-help books. They are very boring. So genre it is. And we're gonna start with fantasy because fantasy is mostly the genre I own. Also, look at the amount of dust on these books, man. it's I need to clean up. So the first book that I wanted, or the first book series that I wanted to put on my bookshelf, was the book series that got me into reading, and I'm pretty sure it got a lot of people into reading too. But it was City of Bones, Shadowhunters. I loved reading this book. When I first read it, I swear to you, it was a fever dream to me. I was so fascinated by it. I never really read a fantasy book besides Goosebumps, but that doesn't really count as fantasy. I was never much of a reader. And there's a funny story how I read this book. So, my friend sent me a text with the picture of. Hold on, Let me open the book. With the picture of the first chapter, this page. And she asked me what was irritating her in it. And what was irritating her was that the first chapter begins from page number 13 and not number 1. But in order to find a mistake, I read the entire page and I asked her what happens next. And then she was like, just buy the book. And I read the summary behind, and my interest was piqued. So I bought the book. I just bought the first one and I read it in like a day or maybe 2 days because I was so interested in this. I was like 13, maybe 14, and this was my first introduction to like vampires and werewolves. I don't think I'd seen Twilight that time, but I did watch it after or in the middle of reading these books. I didn't like the movies, but the book was so peak. I loved the world building. I was just so emotionally attached to these characters, except Clary. Clary somehow didn't seem to have a character arc in all of the 6 books. And now that I've been reading for a few years, I realized that Clary and Jace, which are the two main characters of this book, are exactly the type of main characters that I despise now, which is why every time I think of rereading this book just for pure nostalgia purposes, I don't, because I don't want to ruin that good, blissful memory of me just completely engaged into this fantasy world by not liking it anymore. I really want to reread them, but I fear that I will not like them when I do that, and I don't want to ruin my good COVID memories when I read this book. So, the first one was also probably my favorite one in the series. Usually in fantasy books, I know a lot of people don't usually like the first book as much, or usually like the ones in the middle or the second book often. But for me, in fantasy genres, mostly I like the first books the most, purely because you, along with the main character that you're following, are thrown into this fantasy world, and it's like you're experiencing it together, and that sort of euphoric feeling is kind of lost when you progress through the series. That kind of new high of learning about this new world hidden from other people is something only first books in fantasy series achieve. So yes, god, even the covers are making me nostalgic. I really want to reread these. I really do, but I'm afraid I won't like them now, because from what I remember, I didn't like Clary, who was the main character of this book. This book is about a girl named Clarissa Frey, Clary, who gets thrown into this world her mother has been hell bent on hiding from her, and her mother gets kidnapped trying to protect something, and she is very determined to find her. My only problem with the main characters was that I found her to be very selfish, and that was a little irritating to read. I did like Jace, aka the main love interest of this book, but now that I've grown up and I've read so many other books, I realize that Jace is exactly the blueprint of the love interests I hate now. Just purely arrogant and broody and kind of emo. It's just, I feel like it's been repeated so often that I don't know, it gets repetitive after a certain point, and it seems like these characters never have an arc. I swear to you, every person in this book had an arc except the main two characters, which was kind of pissing me off, but the world building in these books was awesome. Also, did you know this was originally a Harry Potter fan fiction? I think it was a Draco and Hermione fan fiction, but I'm unsure. There was a lot of drama surrounding these books. Maybe I should do a video on these. We'll think about it. But these are definitely going first on my shelf, purely for the nostalgic purpose. Okay, so those books are on the shelf. Now, the second books that I want to keep belong to the same universe, written by the same author, and those are the Infernal Devices that also belong to the Shadowhunters universe. And among the fandom, this is the favorite book series out of all three. And in my opinion, I like the third series from the same universe, and that was the Infernal Device. Oh wait, this is the Infernal Devices. God, I read them so long ago, I don't remember what that's called. But the third, the third book series was the one that I liked the most. Also, look at them; they look untouched, and probably because I was keeping them in the box. But now I think the box takes too much space, so I'll have to take them out now. But they're literally probably the most undamaged books I have in here. But these books are the fan favorite, and I like, as I said, I like the third series that was also a part of the same universe better. But now thinking about it, I think the book series that I still like the best was probably the City of Bones, the Shadowhunters, the ones that came out first, because that's how I was introduced to these characters, and I feel like I got emotionally attached most to the characters in the first book. Or maybe the series was just like so long, it's like 6 books. Maybe that's why I was really attached to that universe. These were good. In fact, even the writing was better in this one. Like in the first book, it's kind of cringy and too teenagey now that I realize, but I think my heart still belongs to the first series. But Infernal Devices is probably the healthiest love triangle you'll ever read about. I mean, it involves two best friends and a girl. That sounded a little too much like two girls, one cup. Just forget I said that. That was a traumatizing experience to learn about that. But there's this girl who is a witch, kind of a wizard or something like that. And she also finds herself thrown into the world of Shadowhunters, and that's basically how her story goes. Definitely interesting, and a lot of things happen to these characters. And another part I like the most about these books is that all of these characters are throughout the books. The immortal ones are all throughout the series, in every series. For example, Magnus Bane is an immortal wizard. He's in the first series, he's in the second series, which is the Infernal Devices, and he's in the third ones too. So I'll show you the third ones, but I had a good time reading these. But I think these were also the books that I read the slowest. Th- Compared to all three of these were a little dense, but I still like them. And I know there are three people in the love triangle. There's Tessa, there's Jem, and there's Will. Will was the preferred choice in this love triangle throughout the fandom, but for me it was Jem. Will reminded me too much of Jace, and fun fact, they are actually related, so maybe that's why I didn't like him that much. But Jem was peak. He was probably my favorite character in this series. Just a very well written character. He had so much empathy for everyone around him. It was beautiful to read, and that rarely happens in fantasy books written for teenagers. But I mean, the exception being Percy Jackson, but we'll talk about that later. Third book in the series is The Dark Artifices, which I remember liking the most. But now that I think about it, as I said, I like the first, The City of Bones, better. But I'm not putting them next to the Infernal Devices because I have one problem. Amazon sent me the wrong editions. Let me show you. All of my City of Bones editions are also different, by the way, but at least they're the same size. So I put them together, and it irritates me when, oh, there we go. And it irritates me when I have different sized books. And the worst part is that this is the second book. It's not even the third, so I can keep the first two together. So we'll see what I do with these. But for now, they are not going with the infernal devices, even though it's gonna piss me off that the books that belong in the same universe aren't kept together. But I feel like I want to complete the series rather than disrupting it because it's going to irritate me. Also, don't order books from Amazon unless they're a duology. Even that's asking too much, to be honest. Just order solo standalone books, because if you order a series separately, just because I used to order series one by one instead of all of them together, just in case I didn't like the first book, so I wouldn't have to continue reading the rest of them, which is stupid now that I realize. But if you do order them one by one like this, don't do it from Amazon. Just go and buy series from a bookstore. Just order standalones from Amazon. That is the best advice I can give you right now. But these are not going next to them. Also, these books were probably the poorest written ones too. These books were so overwritten. Like, what do you have to say that requires this much? Like, it was so long, and this is the third book. And I remember reading the third book in one sitting. How many pages does this have? This had 800 something pages, and I read this in one sitting. I remember my exams just got over, I think, and then I just read this third book as fast as I could because I was excited. But these ones were also the poorest ones, that like the poorest written ones, even though they were still enjoyable, don't get me wrong, but they kind of felt not poorly written but poorly edited. Like, you could take out some of the chapters in this book, and the character arcs and the character depth would have remained the same, in my opinion. Also, Clary and Jace have a character arc in these books, which I kind of hated because we read those six books and they kind of didn't seem to change much. There was also a little bit of incest in those books. They were very chaotic for a 13-year-old to read, to be honest. But mm, what can you do? They were, or but we're not gonna. This, if I'd started talking about the City of Bones, I could make like an hours long video. So I'm not gonna do that. But these books were very poorly edited. Like, they were very overwritten. Do you know what I mean? Like, they could lose a few chapters and it would have been fine. Also, the main two characters were probably the least interesting out of all of them, but they were still good characters in my opinion. If especially there are two main characters in this book, Emma and Julian, and I really liked Julian. He had the most character depth of all of the characters in this book, but it was a little chaotic. There's also alternate realities that are being, explored. It was a lot to fit into just three books. Either the series should have been longer or some chapters should have been taken out. It just felt a little rushed, but they were still good. If I had to, I would rate them a solid 6 out of 10. Not that I'm not putting the Dark Artifices next to the Infernal Devices. I'm gonna be putting one of my favorite fantasy books of all time, which also had one of my favorite female main characters of all time, and that is The Cruel Prince. I love these books so much. Like, the world building, the characters, everything, even the side characters had so much depth, and just every character arc, no matter how small the character was or how big the character was, connected so perfectly into the plot and the world that they were thrown in. Also, another thing I liked about this book, that instead of the classic this girl has special powers and then she's thrown into this world. This book had that this girl didn't have any powers and was kind of forced into this world of fairies and immortal people and just a whole other euphoric state that normal people didn't know about. And she ends up just using strategies and just strategies and fighting her way through everyone just to gain some power. The main character in this book is so power hungry, and that's another thing I like about this book. There are no perfect characters with no character flaws. It's just, I like how the author wasn't ashamed to show that instead of trying to hide it in like fake kindness, like Shadowhunters did, for example. Clary was mildly selfish, but the book kept portraying her as kind and caring, which I don't think she was that kind or caring. I mean, she definitely put herself and her family first, but the more you know. But this book was not ashamed to show that the main character was very power hungry. Even though she also put her family first, she wanted power. She wanted to show these powerful people that she wasn't nothing, and that was so interesting to read. Also, this book is a prime example of enemies to lovers done right. Usually, the books that come out now that have enemies to lovers is just mostly, you know, enemies to lusters or just mild. I need to stop. Rivals to lovers, and it's so these two hate each other in the first book. You won't even like the main character, one of the main characters, the love interest. His name's Carden, and you won't like him in the first book. In fact, you'll hate him. And the characters that you'll do like will end up betraying each other, and it's so good. I would recommend everybody read this book at least once in their lifetime. This is peak YA fantasy. There's a lot of YA books out there, but if I wanted to recommend somebody that was just getting into fantasy, I would definitely recommend this. These were so good. Also, it's just 3 books. And they aren't that gigantic, and the world building is still perfect. And I love these books so much. These are going next to the Infernal Devices. And now it's time for the classic fantasy books, and that would be the Percy Jackson series. I read these pretty late. I think I read them in ninth grade, like just before starting my 10th grade, and I wished I had read them sooner because they were so good. I love Rick Riordan. I think he's one of the best YA writers right now. Even though I have some thoughts about the show, I'll be going into that book and the show in a separate video, but these were peak. Like, these were so good. For a book being written for kids, these had so many serious topics and so much character depth and so many emotionally mature themes introduced to children in such a perfect manner. This should be considered classic literature when we grow up. I'm not going to lie. This should be our, well, what was another classic book? I wanted to say Romeo and Juliet, but that doesn't match with the theme. Any weird fiction that William Shakespeare wrote, that this should be considered the when we get old. This should be a classic. Now that I've talked about fantasy books that I did like, let's talk about fantasy books that I hated. Whether they're not fantasy technically, they would be sci-fi fiction, but probably one of the poorest written ones, and I'm talking about Divergent. These books felt like the author just made shit up while she was writing it. All of these books felt so rushed. The first one was probably the most well written, but these felt so rushed. And I'm pretty sure there was so many plot holes that I found while reading these books. It felt like the author wasn't following the rules of her own universe, which always feels very lazy, and it kind of hurts because how do you expect people to get invested into a universe you don't even care about? The characters were very shallow. I didn't really like any of them. The side characters were so boring. Hell, the main characters were so boring. I didn't like Four. I didn't like Triss. Even though the characters had so much potential, it just felt like it was trying to be the next Hunger Games and failed miserably. Like, these books are something I would not recommend to anybody. They wasted my time and I hated them. I don't know. It wasn't for me, and I'm sure people are there are fans of this book. It's just I wasn't one of them. So okay, so the first shelf is complete. It's mostly fiction, fantasy, etc. Even though I switched a little bit, probably because I'm running out of fantasy books that will fit in these shelves because the editions are completely different. But let's continue. Okay, so I switched Divergent to the. Wait, okay, I don't think you can see it, but yeah. I switched it to the second shelf because there's another fantasy series that will fit in the first one, and let me show you. Can't believe I forgot about them, but the Shadow and Bone series, another one of my favorite fantasy books. Even though one or a few side characters were kind of uninteresting, and well, they also ended up being one of the main characters. I'm not talking about Elena Starkov. She is the main character of this book, and it's pretty basic. She realizes that she has powers, and then she gets thrown into this weird, power hungry world of people where some of them are trying to kill her and some of them are trying to use her. It is really good, but one of the main love interests in this book is so boring. I really tried to like him, but he has no personality whatsoever. Like, he is so bland. He has no character flaws. He has no depth. He has no arcs. He doesn't really go through something until the last book, and he comes back from that really quickly. It's just he was really bland, and when so the happy ending that he got in the third book didn't feel earned. I'm not saying that every character needs to suffer throughout the series to have a happy ending, but they should at least have an arc or some kind of character depth for you to feel that the said character deserved the said happy ending. But unfortunately, that wasn't how it went. But the world building in this book, peak, so peak. Oh my god, like, it is so well done. And there's when you read the first book, there are going to be a lot of words you don't understand. It's going to feel a bunch of it's going to feel like you're reading a bunch of mumbo jumbo, and it's going to be hard to get through. But they also have this tiny little dictionary to help you out a bit. So if the shoe fits, like, just read it. It's really good. It's a little rough to read at first because there's a lot of new words thrown around, but it is so good. The world building is so good. It's just that one character that I didn't like. Lake Bardugo is one of my favorite authors, and I just read one of her adult fantasy debuts. That one was called The Familiar, and it is so good. Lake Bardugo has one strength, and it is knowing how to build a world in small books. Like, they don't need to be exceptionally long. That is something Cassandra Clare lacks. She needs a lot of pages and a lot of space to build her world of fantasy. Lake Bardugo does it in less pages and shorter, and it keeps you interested. The books are paced perfectly, in my opinion, and I know a lot of people didn't like the third book. It's the most hated one in the series, but I liked it. except the ending, because I said one of the characters felt like they didn't earn their happy ending, but that's just me. Also, the third book left room for another series, which I'll talk about later. I haven't read it, I have to read it, but these are so good. I'm going to be going into more depth in another video, but so good. Now, the next one going on the shelf is a book that a lot of people love, but I D&D'd, and it was We Had the Flame. I was so excited to read this book, but it just, I don't know, it felt slow, or it didn't feel interesting. I don't remember. Here's my bookmark, which I think I'm gonna remove because I don't remember anything, and I'm gonna need to start reading it all over again. So I'm gonna remove that. But I don't know, I just couldn't get into it. It started off slow and somehow kept getting slower the first 100 pages that I did read, and then I D&D'd it. Like, I didn't finish it. I just found it very boring. It felt like the introduction went on for too long. Like, like we didn't have any idea as to what was going on. And this is the same problem that I had in the Atlas 6. Like, the introduction went on for too long when it didn't need to. But the plus point it did have, that it was very fast paced, so I could get through it quickly. This, on the other hand, we don't know what's going on, and I get that this needs that sort of introduction. Some books do need that sort of introduction, especially if you're reading a fantasy book. But I don't know, it just went on for a good amount of time, and I still didn't have any idea as to what was going on, and that became one of the reasons why I couldn't get into it. Also, because it was so slow paced, it felt like a challenge to read every page. I will try reading this again, but I don't know if I like these books so much now that I remember reading the first 100 pages. But I also read this like 3-4 years ago. Maybe I was into more fast paced kind of teenagey books, so maybe I like this better. Who knows? I've changed a lot in terms of my book reading, I don't know, expectations and the things I like in books now. It used to be very different, but I'll give these a try again, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so let's talk about more Lake Bardugo, because one can never have too much Lake Bardugo, and I'm talking about The Ninth House. I loved this book so much. This was also, I think this was her adult debut, and this was so good. Again, as I said, Lake Bardugo knows how to build worlds, and knows how to do it in just the perfect amount of pages. Beautiful. I haven't read the second part yet. Also, I read this book back when I started my 12th grade. So, and I didn't buy the second book for a long time. Now that I have it, I will read it. I will need a recap though. So, but the next thing I want to put on the shelf is the Book of Eve. I haven't read this. I just got it and it seemed interesting. So, fantasy enough. I'm gonna put that on my shelf. The next one that I want to put is Language of Thorns. This is also from the Grishaverse, and it's just folk tales and myths from that world, which I really wanted to read. I also got this recently and I haven't read it. But anything Lake Bardugo writes, I will probably read it. So, okay, so the next book, The Atlas 6, a book that I have a whole video of on my channel. If you haven't seen that, you should. I don't have the remaining two books of this, and I'm in no urgency to read them. I'll probably buy the ebooks if I have to, or the audiobooks. But the first one was mid, and it didn't really have me rushing to buy the other books. Could have been so good, was mostly a disappointment. So this is a whole video on this. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. The next one I want to put on my shelf is One Dark Window. I haven't read this yet. I also got this recently, and I found out about this book from the book Leo in one of her videos. It's supposed to be a gothic fantasy, and that's right up my alley. I looked into it and I found it interesting. So I'm gonna read this and hopefully it's good. And I hope it's good. I've been hunting after this book for a long time. So please be good. Okay, and now I think I'm mostly done with the heavy fantasy books. So now I want to talk about the all of the dark academia books that I own. And the first one is obviously The Secret History. Everybody should. I'm very drawn to stories with darker characters and darker plots, and I feel like everybody should read this book, and I mean everybody. Never have I ever read such complex characters, and if you're a person that likes, I don't know, heroes or somebody to save the story or somebody who would be the hero of a story, you won't like this book because there is not a single good person in this book, if you will. Everybody is so heavily flawed. There is absolutely no one to root for in this book. It is just pure chaos in the most calmest form, and it's one of the best pieces of literature ever written, in my opinion. It's so good. Just perfect. And I feel like everyone should read this at least once. It's a little dense, it's a little heavy, but one of the most interesting stories I have ever read. Also, if you're someone that doesn't enjoy character driven plots, implying that the story doesn't have a plot, it's mostly based on how the characters think and what decisions they make instead of having a proper blueprint of a plot, you won't like this. Like, there's no proper plot in this book, it's just mostly character driven stories that all connect together, and I feel like they blend in so perfectly. So I feel like everyone should read this book. Up next is The Goldfinch. I haven't read this yet. I want to read it, and I'm pretty sure this will be covered again in another video that I'll make. And I think the video that I'm talking about is also going to be the one that takes me the longest time, so you're gonna have to wait for it. But I'm sure I'll try my best to make it as fast as I can. While we are at Dark Academia, it's time for Ninth House to find its place on the shelf. So I'm gonna do that. And just like that, the second shelf is also completely filled with books. Now it's time to move on to the third and the fourth. But let me continue to put on more dark academia coded books. The Familiar. I expected going into this being about witches and stuff like that, and I suppose it was. But it's also one of the best love stories that I've ever read. Severely underrated. I don't know why nobody talks about this book. It should be more talked about. It should have its own fandom. And considering Book Talk really loves its romances, I'm surprised this didn't have a wave of popularity. It certainly deserved one amongst so many other bad books that are on there. I feel like this was one of the best fantasy romances that I've ever read. One of the best, probably the best fantasy romances that I've ever read. It's short, it's sweet, it's beautiful, it's heartbreaking all at the same time. Great characters, you root for them constantly. It's also about power, hungry people. It's also about people not wanting to be lonely all their life. It's people craving that affection and that humanly feelings in this crazy fantasy world, and I love that. And it definitely deserves a read by a lot of people. Another book that I'm the most excited to read is If We Were My Villains, which is another dark academia book. A lot of people said that it's kind of like The Secret History, and since I liked that book so much, I figured I'll love this too. So I'll give it a try and we'll see how it goes. Dark academia is a genre that I know it's very heavily romanticized, but I feel like the aesthetics of the genre are more romanticized than the books themselves, because there's a sort of elitist, I don't want to say propaganda because that's not what it is, but just there's mostly very unlikable characters in Dark Academia books, mostly like the one that lean heavily into the genres, and I feel like a lot of people just ignore that and just kind of read it for the aesthetic, if I'm being honest. So I don't know. It would be a good video idea, but I feel like if you read the books themselves, in my personal opinion, Dark Academia wouldn't be as romanticized as it is. But that's a whole other topic. I get liking the aesthetic of gothic buildings and studying in secret libraries and stuff like that, but the idea of Dark Academia goes much deeper than that. It's not all dead poet societies. It's a lot. The whole culture is very interesting if you look into it, and I feel like the best way to start looking into it is by starting to read Dark Academia books, and you should start with The Secret History, because then you'd understand what I'm talking about and why it wouldn't be so heavily romanticized. Another book that nobody talks about, and it was a book that I recently read and ended up loving, is The Young Gothic. It this book completely, maybe I just liked it because it gave me nostalgia, but just it just gave me that early fantasy, even though it's not completely fantasy. It's gothic fiction, if you will, but the characters in this book are so good. And this is the most bizarre book you'll ever read. The premise of this book is that four people are invited to spend some time in a villa where the dead poets originally went and wrote their masterpieces. For example, Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, all came when they all came from that villa when a lot of authors and poets decided to spend time at this villa. And basically some people are conducting an experiment and they're choosing four people to do the same thing again, except it goes much deeper than that. And they realize the monsters and the things that were in their head just aren't in their head. The characters in this book are so good with so much depth, and I like that this book doesn't take itself so seriously. It's fast paced, it has a great plot, and the found family trope in this book is so perfect, even though all of them kind of hate each other. And you know, when you first started, but all of them try to figure what's going on together, and that's how they form bonds through their traumas and stuff like that. And it's a really good book, and I'm surprised this wasn't hyped as much, because when I tried looking it up, I barely found any people that talked about it. It deserves a lot of hype, and I'm going to recommend this till my dying breath. I picked this book up because it was the last remaining one in in a bookstore, and I didn't know what it was about. I just liked the cover, so I bought it, and thank God I did, because it was so fun to read. Definitely, this is one of those books that will get you out of your reading slump. It's fast paced, it's fun, it's heartbreaking, and the characters are great. You should definitely give this one a try. Let's talk about my Colleen Hoover books. I don't even know where to put these or what genre these would fit in. They're not romance, and they're certainly not, I don't know, character driven because the characters are so boring. To be honest, I wish I had the option to burn them, but I can't. So I suppose they go in the second shelf. But if I have a chance to donate these books, I would do that so quick because these are so bad. I don't even do. I wouldn't even think I would want to donate them. Nobody deserves to read this. Colleen Hoover is is what happens when people tell Wattpad writers that their writing is good, and that's all I'll say. The bars that the expectation that these characters have in her books are so low that it's the bar is in hell. It's not even in hell. It's scorched the earth and is approaching towards the sun, and that's all I'll say. Let's talk about Verity. This book was my, I think this was my first introduction to like um thriller, murder mystery, whatever you want to call it. And I thought this was really good until I read other books. This book is the prime example of books having so much potential and a great plot, but the author just not wanting to make the effort. Somehow, this book turned from a thriller to a mildly misogynistic fighting over a man kind of thing. And I don't know how it went into that direction, but it's just, it could have been so good, and it was just so bad the more I kept reading it. It it's probably her best written book. I'll say that. Also by Colleen Hoover, by the way, which is why I'm saying it. It's probably her best written book, and I definitely think that if she puts the effort, thriller would be her more. I don't know. Thriller would be something that suits her writing style the best. By the ways she's written this book, but somehow all of her books have a weirdly misogynistic undertone that I just hate. Every women character in all of her books just seems so desperate to be dependent on someone, and when the person they're dependent on it turns out to be toxic or abusive, they just go on depending on someone else. None of her female characters have a backbone, which is what pisses me off the most about this author. it's like it's like she doesn't know how to write female characters without them being dependent on a male lead, and that too being a very toxic masculine male lead, and if not, it's just an emotionally abusive male lead. She is certainly a problematic writer, but I do think if she put efforts into her writing, she would do well in thriller. And I personally think this is, out of all the books that I've read of hers, this one was probably the one that I hated the least. I still hate it, don't get me wrong, but I hate it less than her other books. Okay, so I am done with this bookshelf mostly. There's a little space still left, but there are books that. Also, let me tell you a funny story, by the way. I bought this book. It's also semi dark academia, but I googled to check if this was the first part of the book, and the list was upside down. For example, it wasn't 1, 2, 3, it was 3, 2, 1, and I thought the third book was the first one. So I got the third book, and I realized that it was the third book, and now I just have a book series with the last book without the first two. I'll probably have to buy ebooks to complete this, but it's just I can be dumber than rock sometimes. It's fascinating. Alright, so now that we're done with that bookshelf, it is, look at the mess, man. Like, oh my god. It is time to move to this part of my shelf, and I'm gonna put the remaining books that are all of usually different editions, or the ones that are too big to fit in that shelf will go here. So I'm gonna do that now. Okay, I feel like you and I both need a break after that intense yap session that I just had. Also, I wanted to go out for coffee because I need a well deserved break after all this cleanup, but I can't because it's raining outside. So we'll just have an evening in, I suppose. Also, I haven't posted long form videos in a while. It's just that I'm working on a lot of things right now, and I'm going. Well, to be honest, I'm going out a lot. I won't be for a while, but there won't be long form videos. Not for the longest while. I'm actually starting to work on them, but it's just I've been kind of busy. I've been going to vacations. I've been meeting my friends. I didn't do that for a long time, so now all of us are kind of planning things together and going out, which honestly all of us deserve. And I've been going to vacations. I've been going to meet my family. I've been working on other projects. I've also been procrastinating all of my long form videos to read books and watching movies and doing other useless things, but I promise you I will work on them. This video was mostly please don't cut the small amount of engagement that I get, but this was basically let's clean my bookshelf and have a little yap session. I also didn't write a script for this video, so if it kind of seemed all over the place, I'm sorry. It's because so was I didn't. I honestly didn't even plan to record today. I just had time, so I was like, let's do a little cleaning, shall we? And that is what I did. More videos coming your way soon, I promise, and I will see you the next time. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment whatever you need improved, and any other video suggestions that you might have. I will love to make videos on them. So I'll see you in the next one, and have a good one.